India plane with 244 people on board bound for London Gatwick Airport crashing shortly after takeoff.
Now, this is more video of the moment the plane took off and came down. And again, a warning you make.
Seconds after takeoff on its way to London Gatwick, this Air India flight crashes into a residential district.
They called it one of the safest planes ever built. A flight packed with families, students, and public figures, gone just seconds after takeoff. No weather issues, no distress call, just a sudden drop and silence. Now more than 200 lives are lost, and somehow one man survived to tell the story. What really happened on board Air India Flight AI171? Was it a rare mechanical failure, a hidden system flaw, or something even more disturbing? As investigators from 3 countries dig deeper, what they're uncovering is raising more questions than answers. And if the early signs are true, this crash might change how we look at modern aviation forever. It was supposed to be a routine trip, just under 9 hours from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick. Business travelers, families, students, and even a former state leader were aboard Air India Flight AI171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner loaded with 230 passengers and 12 crew. But just moments after takeoff, everything unraveled. A thunderous blast was heard less than 30 seconds into the climb. Seconds later, the aircraft plummeted into a residential complex meant for doctors and hospital staff. Survivors on the ground watched in horror as one of the world's most advanced airliners became a fireball of twisted metal. What makes this even more chilling is that the Boeing 787 is widely considered one of the safest aircraft in commercial aviation. So how did one of the most sophisticated jets in the sky fall from the air so catastrophically? And why are investigators from 3 different countries now rushing to piece together what really went wrong? But the most baffling part? One man walked out alive. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner wasn't just any aircraft. It was a symbol of modern aviation. Built almost entirely from carbon fiber composites, it boasted next-gen safety systems, advanced avionics, and engines designed to keep flying even in extreme scenarios. Before this crash, the 787 had a spotless record, 0 fatal accidents, no hull loss events. That's what makes this disaster so unnerving. Preliminary evidence shows the plane may have struggled to gain altitude and never retracted its landing gear or flaps, a red flag for a serious mechanical failure. Some aviation analysts are pointing to a potential hydraulic or electronic control failure, which would have crippled the flight early. Others suspect an engine flameout, a total shutdown of power in one or both engines. But what if it wasn't the plane at all? What if something else interfered before the crew ever had a chance to respond? And now, investigators are looking into exactly that. Just days before the crash, Air India engineers had reportedly raised concerns about unresolved software issues linked to the flight control system on several aircraft in the fleet. While it's unclear if Flight AI171 had any reported faults, whispers from maintenance staff suggest there may have been delayed updates or incomplete fixes. Insiders are also drawing attention to a concerning pattern. Other airlines have reported minor malfunctions on Dreamliners involving the same system that handles flaps and gear. Most were fixed during routine maintenance. But in a worst-case scenario, an overlooked issue could snowball into a cascading failure just after takeoff. The problem? There was no official record of a fault on this particular flight. Nothing in the logbooks, no alerts before departure. So now the question becomes, was this a one-off disaster, or the result of a risk the airline already knew about? And if that wasn't enough, something even more controversial has surfaced. An anonymous whistleblower just came forward. In a sea of devastation, one voice cut through the chaos. Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, a 28-year-old British national. He was pulled from the wreckage alive, the only known survivor. His face was bloodied, ribs likely fractured, and his words, shaken, confused, quickly went viral. He described a loud bang shortly after takeoff, followed by a violent drop. "It felt like the plane just gave up," he said, still strapped to what remained of his seat. Medical staff say he's physically stable but deeply traumatized. What makes his account so critical isn't just the fact that he lived. It's what he heard and saw in those final moments. According to him, there was no warning, no visible smoke, no sudden banking. Just one explosive sound followed by a rapid descent. If he's right, this wasn't pilot error or weather. It was something far more sudden and possibly mechanical. But investigators aren't stopping there, because what they're finding now could change aviation history. Shaping up to be one of the most haunting mysteries in modern aviation. A nearly brand new Boeing 787, marketed for its cutting-edge safety, went down in perfect weather, minutes after takeoff with no distress signal confirmed. Over 200 lives lost, a former politician dead, and only one man left to tell the tale. As investigators from India, the UK, and the US comb through the wreckage, early signs suggest the aircraft may have never retracted its landing gear or flaps, hinting at either a catastrophic hydraulic failure or dual-engine issue. Rumors of a mayday call have surfaced, citing engine failure, but nothing's been officially verified. And if this truly becomes the first ever hull loss for the 787 series, the fallout for both Boeing and Air India could be massive. Until the black box is recovered, one question will hang in the air. How does a billion-dollar machine designed to withstand almost anything drop out of the sky without a chance to fight back?